Welcome students, this is Machine Design 1. We are dealing with the first module, Basics of Mechanism. In the previous classes, we have studied about mechanisms, structure, machine, definition for these things. Later we have learned about the types of links, types of pairs, all those things we have learned in the previous class. Also we have seen about degree of freedom. We have also solved two or three problems based on that. And we have studied about few basic mechanisms, particularly inversion of four-bar chain mechanism we have studied in the previous class. We are going to continue that on this video. As I told already, mechanism is very useful in our day-to-day life. Uh, we could see mechanism in all the places. I hope you have seen this term quartz in your watches. Quartz in watches. You might have seen this. Why they have mentioned this name quartz? Quartz is a kind of crystal. Okay, they have used in watches. Based on that only, based on the oscillation of quartz, we could see the time. Okay, how it is working? Behind that, some mechanism is there. I'll tell about that. I'll give a small introduction about that, and then we will move to the subject. Okay, how it is working? Behind this, a beautiful mechanism is there. So you could see in this image a quartz oscillator, a kind of small tube. Okay, quartz oscillator. Inside that tube, they will give the they will place the quartz crystal. Kind of it will be in the shape of a tuning fork. You might have seen tuning fork in schools. Okay, they will create the quartz crystal in such a way that the shape of the quartz crystal is like a tuning fork, and they have inserted that particular quartz tuning fork inside the quartz oscillator. Okay, quartz, what it will do if we compress, or if we if we compress the quartz, or if we try to make it oscillate the quartz, this quartz crystal will produce uh, electrical signals. Okay, they used to call that as piezoelectric effect. When the quartz oscillate, it will produce electrical signals. Or if we give, instead vice versa, if we give the electrical signal or electrical supply, small amount of electricity, the quartz crystal starts to oscillate. How it will oscillate? The oscillation, the frequency of quartz crystal is 32,768, that is 2 power 15. Okay, that is the frequency. What is this frequency? That means in 1 second, this quartz crystal will oscillate about 32,768 times. In 1 second, this quartz crystal will oscillate by 32,768 seconds. Now they have a kind of processor near the quartz oscillator. This microprocessor will reduce this frequency. Okay, from 2 power 15 to 1. Okay, they have programmed like that. This microprocessor will reduce the frequency of the frequency given by the quartz oscillator from 2 power 15 to 1. Okay, per second one oscillation. Like that, this microprocessor will reduce the oscillation. This 1 second one oscillation. Okay, this is directly connected to the seconds dial. Okay, through some mechanisms, through some gears and gear trains, they have connected this microprocessor signal into seconds dial. Okay, so 1 second one oscillation, like that. Okay, if it oscillate 32,768 times, it will be converted into one oscillation, and one oscillation means one dial, that seconds dial will move one time. Okay, this is the working principle behind the quartz watches. Okay, so behind every mechanism, some beautiful concept is there. Okay, so we are going to study in this module basics mechanism, some basic mechanism. In the previous class we have studied about beam engine, locomotive, coupling rod of locomotive engine, Watt's indicator. Okay, now, so this is what we have studied in the previous video: beam engine, coupling rod of locomotive, Watt's indicator. Now, inversion of single slider crank chain. Okay, inversion of single slider crank chain. First of all, single slider crank chain means you'll have a crank. The pink color one is a crank, the ash color one is a connecting rod, then the green one is a piston or slider, the brown one is the fixer link. Okay, this is a slider crank chain mechanism. One slider, why they are calling this a slider crank chain mechanism means it is having one slider, also it is having one crank. That's why they used to call this as single slider crank chain mechanism. Okay, when the crank rotates, the slider will reciprocate. This is the process of single slider crank chain mechanism. This is the process of single slider crank chain mechanism. Now we are going to see the inversion of single slider crank chain mechanism. In the previous class itself, I gave introduction to the inversion process. Inversion process means instead of fixing the fixed link, fixing some other links as fixed link. That is called as inversion process. Otherwise, changing the shape of the link or including or removing a link from the mechanism, also called as inversion mechanism. So this is a single threaded crankchain mechanism. Instead of fixing link 1, if we fix link 2, that is a inversion. Otherwise, if we fix link 3, that is also called as inversion. Let us see few inversion. So in the case A, instead of the link 1, link 2 is a crank is fixed. Okay, crank is fixed, so this is a inversion. Here connecting rod is fixed, this is also called as inversion. Here the slider, that particular guide is fixed, so this is also called as inversion. So these are all few inversions of single threaded crank mechanism: Whitworth quick return mechanism, rotary internal combustion. These two mechanisms are also called as second inversion. Cranken slotted quick return mechanism, oscillating cylinder. These two mechanisms are called as third inversion. Pendulum pump or bull engine, that is called as fourth inversion. So these are all few examples for inversion of single cylinder crankchain mechanism. First, let us see Whitworth quick return mechanism. In many machining process, begin the working of machining process, they are using Whitworth quick return mechanism and Cranken slotted quick return mechanism. In the name itself, we can understand one thing. Look at the name, Whitworth quick return mechanism. Quick return mechanism. That means the return motion will be quicker than the forward motion. Okay. In the machinery items, you might have seen this one: cutting stroke, return stroke. Most of the time, the forward stroke will be cutting stroke. Most of the time, the forward stroke will be cutting stroke. In return stroke, the tools won't do any work. During the forward stroke, even here you could see, when the cutting tool move forward, when the cutting tool move forward, it will remove the material. When the cutting tool move forward, it will remove the material. When the cutting tool return back to its original position, it will not do any work, or it will not remove or cut any material. Okay, so the forward stroke, it should be perfect, because in forward stroke it is cutting or it is removing the material. So the forward stroke should be slow comparing to the return stroke. Suppose if the forward stroke is quick, means the surface of the object will not be smooth, or tool might broke. Okay, that's why forward stroke should be slower than the return stroke. While going forward, it need more torque. If the velocity of the tool increased, means torque will reduce. At the end, tool might broke. So forward stroke should be slow. Then only the torque will be more. It can easily remove the material. Okay, wow. So this is the purpose of quick return mechanism. So how we are going to achieve this quick return mechanism? Look at the picture carefully. Look at the picture carefully. I will explain the parts one by one. First of all, CD. First of all, CD. CD is a fixed link. First of all, CD. CD is a fixed link. Okay. There is a crank. Crank is CA. CA is a crank. CA is a crank. Always crank will have rotary motion. Don't forget it. CA is the crank. Now A is the slider. A is the slider or piston. A is the sorry. Yeah. Uh, Slider is a link for. CA is the crank. CA is the crank. On point A. On point A, they have fixed this slider. On point A, they have fixed this slider. Okay. Also, this slider is framed inside or designed inside the slotted bar. This is the slotted bar. This is a slotted bar. So this is a slotted bar. Okay. So this piston is kept inside the slotted bar. Piston is kept inside the slotted bar. Piston is kept inside the slotted bar. This middle portion of the slotted bar is fixed on the fixed link CD. This middle portion of the slotted bar is fixed or hinged, not fixed. The middle portion of the slotted bar is hinged on point D. Hinged on point D, where CD is the fixed link. Okay, so that it is designed in such a way that this slotted bar can oscillate freely. It is designed in such a way that this slotted bar can oscillate freely like this. Okay, it can oscillate freely in both the side. In both the side, it can oscillate. Okay, it is designed in such a way. So now we have seen four parts we have seen. First of all, CD is a fixed link, CA is a crank, and then on point A, piston or slider is hinged. Okay, here also hinged, not fixed. Fixed means kind of welding. Hinged means kind of bearing support. Okay, a kind of bearing will be supporting it. Okay, or through some hinge points, pin points, they will fix this slider with the point A. Okay, va? Slider is hinged on point A. Also, slider is inserted into the slotted bar. Slotted bar means inside the bar there will be space for sliding. Slotted bar means like this. Slotted bar means like this. Slotted bar means it will be like this, and inside some spaces is there. In the spaces, in the space, the piston is kept inside. Okay, piston is kept inside, so that piston can move inside the slotted bar freely. Move inside the slotted bar freely. Okay, so D2P. P is a point on the slotted bar. Okay, P is point on the slotted bar. P is point on the slotted bar, and from that point, otherwise that point on the slotted bar. From that point on the slotted bar, one more link, connecting rod. That is connecting rod. That is connecting rod. This connecting rod. One more end of the connecting rod is connected on the ram. One end of the connecting rod is hinged on point P. Another end of connecting rod is hinged on ram. Hinged on ram. Okay. So now I have explained all the parts. Now nearly I have explained all the parts. Now let us see how it will work. Now let us see how it will work. When the crank rotate, okay, va? When the crank rotate, what will happen to the slider? When the crank rotate, the slider will also try to rotate along with the crank, but it is fixed inside the slotted bar, so it cannot rotate. Instead, what it will do, it will slide inside the slotted bar. It will slide inside the slotted bar like this. Okay, it will slide inside the slotted bar like this. So when it slide, this portion, what will do? It will try to rotate or oscillate. Okay, va? When it slide, when the piston slide, one end of the slotted bar will try to oscillate. It will make another end to oscillate. Okay, so it will oscillate in such a way that this particular line, it might make a perfect circle. Okay, va? This crank path, that is also rotating in circular path, so they have shown that in this big circle. Okay, va? So this P1 DP also rotate in circular path, that is shown in smaller circle. Okay, I will show you one more animation. So this is one more example for Whitworth quick return mechanism. So this is how it is working. See this black one, this black one, this is a slotted bar. This black one is a slotted bar, and here this is crank. Crank is rotating. Okay. Actually, that is a example for crank and slotted lever quick return mechanism. So this is how ram is working. When the crank rotates, the piston slide inside the slotted bar. That will create the slotted bar to oscillate. That oscillation motion finally will try to uh, oscillate the connecting rod. That will end up in moving of ram. That will end up in moving of ram. Okay. One more thing, this angle, this angle, this is alpha, this is beta. Okay. So for return stroke, this is the angle, this is the angle traveled during return stroke. This is the angle beta. Beta is the angle. Beta is the angle which is the uh, distance. Okay, beta is the angle that is traveled by this particular mechanism during return stroke, or beta is the angle during which the ram quickly return to its original position, and alpha is the angle at that time the ram will move in the forward motion or cutting stroke. So the return stroke angle is much less than the forward stroke angle. The return stroke angle is much less than the forward stroke angle. That's why they are calling this as quick return mechanism. Okay. So time of cutting stroke divided by time of return stroke equal to alpha by beta, which is equal to alpha by 360 degree minus alpha, or 360 degree minus beta divided by beta. Next example, rotary internal combustion engine. Rotary internal combustion engine. This is also second inversion of Slider crank chain mechanism. Whitworth quick return mechanism and rotary internal combustion engine are examples for second inversion of Slider crank chain mechanism. So here crank is fixed. Crank is fixed and multiple connecting rods are connected with one crank. Multiple connecting rods are connected at one crank. So in this animation you could see how it is working. In this animation you could see how this rotary engine is working. This diagram is very important. During the examination you have to draw this diagram and you have to write the working principle. Then at the end you have to write this formula: time of cutting stroke by time of return stroke equal to that time, cutting stroke time and return stroke time, that is directly proportional to the angle, cutting stroke angle and return stroke angle. This formula you have to write. First of all you have to draw the diagram, then you have to explain the working principle. Later at the end you have to write this formula. Similarly, for rotary internal combustion engines, this is a very short mechanism. This is very short question. Here also you have to draw the diagram. You have to draw the diagram with the pencil neatly. Then you have to write the working principle of this rotary internal combustion engine, 4 or 5 lines. That is enough. Okay, because this is a very short one. Okay, 4 or 5 lines. That is enough. How many links are there? Okay, here also we have 4 links. One fixer link, one connecting rod, one crank, then piston. Even though multiple pistons are there, that is counted as one. Okay, even though multiple pistons are there, that is counted as one. Even though multiple connecting rods are there, that will be counted as one. Even though multiple cylinders are there, that will be counted as one. So in this class we have seen how quartz clocks are working, the basic mechanism behind quartz, that we have seen. Okay, that is something extra I have told you. Okay, that is not in the syllabus, but you should know how mechanism is involved in our day-to-day life. In many places in day-to-day life we could see mechanism. So the best example is the quartz clock. Okay, so today we have seen about inversion of single threaded crankshaft mechanism. Particularly we have seen about second inversion of single threaded crankshaft mechanism, that is Whitworth quick release mechanism and rotary engine. Remaining mechanism we will discuss in the next video. Thank you.